dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. It is that time of year. Next week we're going to get the nominees for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and today I'm going to be doing a prediction of my own where I'm going to discuss all of the books that I think are going to make it in the top 20, and then also consequently the top 10 and who I think is going to be the winner of the Goodreads Choice Awards. Now, I've done this in the past where I did like a tier ranking model, and I'm going to do the same because I think it's the best way to really kind of organize what I think is going to be the top 20 and then the top 10. And I'm also going to let you know what books I wish are going to end up in the Goodreads Choice Awards that I don't think are going to make it. And I'm also going to tell you who I think should win. So not necessarily the winner, but who I want to win the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I'm going to record my screen in a second, and I'm going to tell you some details about the books, why I think they're going to make it on the list, because typically the Goodreads Choice Awards are kind of like a popularity contest more so than that they are really focusing on what people have been reading throughout the year and have been loving. So I think the rules for the Goodreads Choice Awards have not changed. So I think on the 15th of November, they're going to announce their 20 picks for each category. There's different categories like general fiction. I think there's a historical fiction, mystery and thriller, horror, fantasy. Last year, they had a romantasy category that I think they're going to put out again because romantasy has been blowing up this year as well. And they have a fantasy category, they have a young adult, debut, memoir, nonfiction. So they have different categories where they have picks for us to choose from so we can vote for them. And then eventually, I think in the first part of December, they have a cutoff date where they announce the top 10 after the votes. And then eventually we get the winner announced for each category. So the criteria are that a book needs to have been published since the last announcement. So I think like since the 15th of November of 2023 up to this point. And then it needs to have a higher rating than 3.5 on Goodreads. So essentially that leaves quite a few books that could be nominated. But what I think they're doing every year is checking what the ratings are for each of the books, and more so how many ratings a book has. And that's why I think that everyone is calling this more so a popularity contest than an actual People's Choice Award. So I'm going to go off of statistics, but also what I've been noticing regarding the books themselves, how popular they've been within the bookish space, and what I think are going to be the picks for the top 20 and then the top 10. Now, I haven't really thought about the top 10 a lot, but last year what I did is just look at the top 20 and consider what are going to be the top 10 picks. And I think that that's how it's best to go about it, because obviously we have here kind of a setup of all the most popular books. So we're just going to wait out and see how that's going to look like. Now I'm just going to go ahead and record my screen. It's recording, and I've made my template on Canva, so it's not the best kind of template, but I think it will work for the purpose of this video. And we're just going to go ahead and dive in. So I would normally start with the most popular books, but we all know which books those are. So I'm just going to start off by saying that there is one book that I'm not sure in which category it will end up. That's Bride by Ali Hazelwood, because it is a paranormal romance. So I don't think it will end up in the list for the romance list. And then that's why I did not put it on this specific list. I also want to say that I think I will mention the romantasy category in the end of my video to let you know which books I think will end up in the romantasy category as well. I'm not very sure about a top 20, but a top 10 I can do for sure. So I'm just going to leave Bride for the romantasy category. And then we're just going to go ahead and dive into the contemporary books. Now, what we notice in the Goodreads Choice Award is that typically traditionally published books are on the list. And what we've noticed lately also is that there's not a lot of diversity within the list, which is very unfortunate. But we'll see. In the wish list category, a couple of romances that I would love to see within the list, and those are typically either independently published books or books that have more diversity to them. So let's go ahead and start. The first book that I have here that I know for sure will end up on the list is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is a book that has quite a few ratings. I think, let me just check. It has over 500,000 ratings, and the rating for it on Goodreads as of last week, because I made this list last week, I think it could have been changed, but it's 4.39. And that's quite a high score for a book, for a romance book specifically. So yeah, Just for the Summer will definitely be in the top 20. Actually, I think it will end up in the top 10 as well. So that one for sure is going on my prediction list. And I'm going to put it on here because I think we need 20 spots here. So the next one that I think will be on the list that I actually have not read and will not read, I don't think I'm going to be vibing with this author because I've heard very mixed reviews about their books, is Carly Fortune's This Summer Will Be Different. This is the kind of book that I don't think is going to be for me. So I know that there is quite a few people that love Carly Fortune's books. It has, I think, quite a few ratings as well. If I check, this book has a solid 4 rating, and then it has 208,000 ratings, so it's quite popular as well. So this one will not be a surprise for me if it ends up in the top 20 and even in the top 10, unfortunately, because I don't think that it's the most deserving of books. Even though I haven't read it, there's just so many other books that don't follow this author's formula that are better in my opinion. So this one will definitely be in the top 20. Then another author duo that I think will end up in the list is Christina Lauren. Their book, The Paradise Problem, will definitely be on the list because it's quite popular as well. That one has a 4.12 rating with 206,000 ratings and counting on Goodreads. So this one is quite popular as well. So I think it will end up in the list as well. And I actually quite enjoyed this book. I really had a lot of fun with it. So I'm not mad about it being quite popular. And then another really popular book is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver can do no wrong in my eyes. I still have not picked up Wild Love, I have to say, but I'm going to be picking it up soon. I really love Elsie Silver's writing, so it's not any surprise to me that she's quite popular. I think there's about 175,000 almost ratings with 4.09 as a rating on Goodreads for this book. And I think quite a few people will be voting for Elsie. So yeah, I would love to see Elsie on this list. And then another quite popular author is obviously Ali Hazelwood. We've got Not in Love. This is the contemporary release that she had in June. And this book actually has 3.66 as a rating. It's not a very high rating, but it has been rated almost 150,000 times on Goodreads, so it's quite popular. I did not love this book, so maybe my opinion is kind of biased because I didn't love it, but yeah, I can imagine that quite a few Ali Hazelwood fans would vote for this book, so it will definitely be in the top 20. Now, when we take a look at the obvious book that is not yet in my top 20 but will definitely be nominated, it's Emily Henry's Funny Story. This book is quite the most popular book that we have on this list. I think it's been rated over 660,000 times on Goodreads with an average rating of 4.25, and that is just out of this world. I mean, Emily Henry can do no wrong in the romance community, I think. There is obviously a divide when it comes to her books, but it's unsurprising for everyone that she is quite popular because she does write some good books. I really loved Funny Story, and I think that she will take it also this year. Unfortunately, not because I don't want her to win, but because I would love for someone else to win it because she's been winning so much already. But regardless, I think she will definitely be on this list as the most popular book, essentially, of the list. And then when we take a look at the rest of the books that I have here. It's interesting who will be like the next follow-up when it comes to the top 10, because Leather and Lark has been rated a lot. This is the second book by Bryn Weaver. We've got Butcher and Blackbird, the first book that was really, really popular because of TikTok. And Leather and Lark is the follow-up. So this one I think will be nominated because this one came out last year, or this year actually. And it has been rated 126,000 times, has a 4.01 average rating, and I did not love this one. I really didn't. So I'm kind of sad to say it, but I don't think it deserves to be in the top 10. I'm leaving it in the top 20 because obviously I think a lot of people are going to vote for it because it has a 4.01 average rating. But essentially, I really hope that it doesn't make it into the top 10 because there's just quite a few better books than this one. And then when we take a look at the other books, we've got Play Along by List on 40. This is one of my favorite books of this year, so I definitely hope and think it will be at least in the top 20 because it does have, let me see, 4.5 as an average rating. I think this is the highest rating that we've got on this list. So if it doesn't make it in the top 10, I will be quite surprised. It has been rated 125,000 times, so it does have quite a good chance at ending up in the top 10. So yeah, I'm really happy about List on 40's kind of progression into the romance community. I think this book was supposed to get picked up traditionally, but I think it didn't. So it is independently published. So I really hope that we get to see her nominated because even though it has been independently published, she had a lot of ratings and she deserves it. And then we've got another quite popular author, and that is Anna Huang. She had a few releases this year. Actually, a few releases. She had King of Sloth, and she also had The Striker, which is a sports romance that just recently released. So I think that King of Sloth is going to be the one that is going to get nominated because I think an author cannot have two books in the same category that have released in the same year, I think. So I think King of Sloth is going to be the one that is going to be on the list. And it has a 4 rating, solid 4, with 122,000 ratings as of last week. So I think it has quite a good chance of actually ending up in the top 10 as well. Now the next couple of books are interesting. Quite interesting because I think Catherine Center is going to be in the top 20 because she has been nominated before for The Bodyguard and I think also for Hello Stranger. And the latest release by this author is The Rom-Commers, which I really disliked. I really did not like this book, so I'm quite curious to see how many people will vote for this one. It does have a, let me see, 4.13 rating. How is it that it has such a high rating? I really hated this book. It has 87,000 ratings on Goodreads, so it has a decent chance of being in the top 20. I'm not sure about the top 10. I actually hope it doesn't end up in the top 10 because it was a very disappointing book. I actually think the romance really was not present in this book, honestly. So yeah, I hope it doesn't end up in the top 10. And then the next book is actually one that I really, really loved. I gave this one 5 stars and it actually released at the end of 2023. So I'm kind of unsure if it will be on the list, but I really hope that it is. I'm going to put it on because I think it did come out after the nominations of last year were announced, so I think it should be on the list. So I'm going to put it in the top 20. It's The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. And then another book that is very popular, even though it released just this past September, is Daydream by Hannah Grace, because Icebreaker was just such a popular book on TikTok. Icebreaker is the first book within this installment, and everyone has been waiting for this specific male character's book, Henry. So I think that's why everyone has been reading it, and it has quite a few ratings. So Daydream has a 4.03 rating with an average of That's the average, and then 82,800 ratings. So I think it will end up in the top 20. How many books do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 books. Now, when I take a look at the books that I have left, let me just go off of a few books that I want to end up in the on the list, but I am not sure that they will. We've got the first book here, which is Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. This is a sapphic romance. Alison Cochrane is quite a popular author in the romance community when it comes to sapphic books. And because we don't really have a lot of sapphic books that I think will end up, I don't think one will actually end up on the list. We did have a Casey McQuiston book come out this year that has, I think, a bi representation in the book. We did have a Maisie Eddings book come out, but they have very few ratings, so I don't think that they have a chance of being on the list, honestly. And then when I take a look at other books that we've got that I am not sure will end up on the list, we've got Business Casual by B.K. Borison. I really like this book. I gave it 5 stars, and it's the best kind of ending to a series. It's so cozy, and it does have spice in it, and it does have longing in it, and I don't know, it had the right formula for me, and I really hope that it ends up on the list, but I don't think it will, because I think it has not even 20,000 ratings. So unfortunately, I don't think it will be popular enough to end up in the top 20. And then another book that I really enjoyed that I'm not sure is going to end up on the list is Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. Laura Pavlov has been busy. This author has been putting out books lately, and I really want to have some recognition for her tenacity and for her work ethic and for the fact that she has been putting out bangers, even though there's not a lot of ratings for this book. I think there's about 23,000 ratings for Loving Romeo. It does deserve recognition, I think, because I don't know, independently published books don't get the love that they deserve in terms of ratings on Goodreads, but I've been hearing every single booktuber that I follow talking about Laura Pavlov books. So it's not a surprise to anyone that Laura Pavlov is a very beloved author right now in the bookish community. So I really hope that she gets some recognitions by being nominated, but I don't think, unfortunately, with the formula that Goodreads is following, that she will end up in the top 20. Now, another book that I have on my wish list is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I really love this book because it has a trope that everyone hates, which is surprise pregnancy, but I think it's done in the best possible way in this book, and Cara Bastone has an amazing production when it comes to her audiobooks. I really enjoyed this one. It has 45,000 ratings, so it might just make it on the list, honestly, but I'm not sure that it will. Let's just see which books I will leave for the top 20 to see if they will end up on the list, and then see what will be left in the wish list category. Now, another book that I think will definitely make it is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. It has a 3.96 rating with 74,000 ratings. So it has a very decent chance of making it on the list, I think. So I'm going to put it together with Daydream. And then another one is A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This one is definitely going to be on the list as well, even though it was not my favorite by this author. It has a 3.68 rating with 54,000 ratings. I think it will be on the list. I honestly think that Ashley Poston is quite popular enough to be nominated in the top 20 at least. And then I've got 2 books here in the top corner that I think are definitely going to be nominated because of the fan base and because they typically get nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards. That's Tessa Bailey with Fangirl Down. Even though I haven't heard the best things about this book, I think it will definitely get nominated. And then we've got The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. Elle Kennedy has such a massive, huge following, so I will be surprised if she does not get nominated. And I think there's quite a few ratings for The Dixon Rule as well. It has 4.19 with 79,000 ratings as of last week. So yeah, I think it's going to be really weird if this book is not on the top 20 list. Now, books that I think will also, or a book that I think will definitely also be on the list is The Rule Book, which is by Sarah Adams. This book is actually quite popular, even though I have to say that it was again not my favorite. The first book, The Cheat Sheet, was quite more cute and fun than this one. So I think it will not be in the top 10. This may be controversial, but I don't think that a lot of people are going to vote for it to be in the top 10. Let's see, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So 3 more books, and I've got 2, 4, 5 more books in my list. Let's see. A book that has, I've forgotten one book that I don't have the template of, but it's on my list here. It's How to End a Love Story. This book I've heard only bad things about, honestly, but it has 69,000 ratings, so I think it will be in the top 20. So unfortunately, my template is not complete, but we're going to put that book in the top 20, and then hopefully it will not end in the top 10. And then that means we've got 2 more spots, and those 2 spots will be for, I think, Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan is going to be in the top. I'm going just to put it here. It's going to be in the top 20 because it does have 64,000 ratings. So I think it will be in the top 20. And then another book. Is it going to be Love Unwritten? Or is it going to be This Could Be Us? This Could Be Us actually has fewer ratings than Love Unwritten. But Love Unwritten, I think, is not as well beloved, or at least Lauren Asher is not. I don't know. I think Kennedy Ryan actually didn't get nominated last year, did she? I'm going to put Lauren Asher in the top 20, even though I don't agree with it. I haven't read the book. I read the first one, I liked it, but I don't think it's at the level of Kennedy Ryan at all. So I'm just going to put Kennedy Ryan's This Could Be Us in the wishlist category. Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto is in my wishlist category because I simply love that book. But unfortunately, it has only around, 22,000 ratings. So unfortunately, again, popularity contest, so I don't think it will make it on the list. And Savor It by Tara DeWitt is exactly similar kind of situation, so it doesn't have a lot of ratings. I love this book, but unfortunately, I don't think it will make it in the top 10 or top 20. So the wishlist category for me is Tara DeWitt, Julie Soto, This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan, Ready or Not, Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov, Business Casual, and Here We Go Again by Alison Cochran. And I think also, if I think about it, Tia Williams actually came out with a love song for Ricky Wilde. I would have put it in the wishlist category because I think it has similar amount of ratings as This Could Be Us, but I don't think that people will vote for that book. So I just left it off of my list, to be quite frank, but I would love to see her nominated as well, because again, looking for more diversity on this list specifically, so you never know. Now, focusing on the top 10, books that I think will definitely make the top 10 are obviously Funny Story, obviously Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, unfortunately Carly Fortune, because just the top 3 in terms of ratings are these 3 books. Then The Paradise Problem for sure also, because it just is quite popular as well. Wild Love and Not in Love are books that also have a lot of ratings, so I think this will be the top 6. I hope Letter and Lark does not get nominated for the top 10. I hope it doesn't push through. I do hope that Play Along and King of Sloth make it because Anna Huang is quite popular. So here we've got a top 8. And then I think Daydream. And the last spot is quite controversial for me. I think it could be that book that I don't have the template of, so How to End a Love Story. I hope it doesn't make it. Then we've got possibly The Dixon Rule, because Elle Kennedy is just so popular. I think the Dixon Rule can definitely be a contender for the top 10 spot. And then maybe, I'm checking if Tessa Bailey, is it going to be Tessa Bailey? Maybe Tessa Bailey or Swift and Saddled. But you know, we're gonna stick to what I want to be in the top 10, so I'm going to go for The Fake Out. Because The Fake Out actually has more ratings than The Dixon Rule. It has more ratings than Swift and Saddled. It has more ratings than Fangirl Down. So I'm just going to leave it as this top 10. So we've got Funny Story, Just for the Summer, This Summer Will Be Different, The Paradise Problem, Wild Love by Elsie Silver, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, Play Alone by Liz Tamfordy, King of Sloth by Anna Huang, Daydream by Hannah Grace, and The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is kind of a list that I can get behind, even though I would love for This Summer Will Be Different to be kind of substituted by something else. Maybe, I don't know, whatever, Swift and Saddled, or even a novel love story, or summer romance I actually really did enjoy by Annabelle Monaghan. So any of these books would be better than This Summer Will Be Different, but I don't think that the reality of it will allow it, because Carly Fortune just has a massive following. So we all know who is going to win. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone that Emily Henry will win again, because having 60,000+ ratings is just not a competition she's going to win by a landslide. Now, even though I really loved Funny Story, it's going to end up in my top books of the year, I am not going to be voting for Emily Henry, simply out of principle that I want someone else to win it, because she has already won it quite a few times, and I think someone else deserves to take the cake once, just for once, because she's popping out books every year, and next year obviously she's going to have a new release that is again going to get nominated, and unfortunately she's probably going to win it again because everyone just loves Emily Henry. I just want someone else to win it, and I'm going to be possibly voting, no, I think I'm going to be voting for Abby Jimenez for Just for the Summer, because it has the highest chance of being the best competitor to Funny Story, and I actually loved Just for the Summer more than I did Funny Story, so it definitely deserves my vote. So this is going to be everything when it comes to all the books that are, I think, going to end up in the top 20 and top 10. I actually made a template here for Romantasy, but I'm not going to talk about Romantasy for too long because I don't want this video to be too long. I'm just going to mention a few mentions when it comes to the Romantasy category that I think are going to end up on the list. Obviously, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It has, I think, over like 400,000 ratings, so definitely that book is going to be on that list. We've got Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the conclusion to the duology, the Divine Rivals duology. That one has been quite popular, so I think it will be on that list because it released like in the last week of December of last year, so I think it has a chance of being nominated. We've got a Danielle Jansen book, which is A Fate Inked in Blood, which I actually read, did not specifically love, but Danielle Jansen has quite a big following as well, so I think a lot of people will vote for that book. We've got Sarah J. Maas with A House of Flame and Shadow, the third book within her latest installment that I think a lot of people will vote for, and this one will actually probably win because Sarah J. Maas, whenever she is nominated, I think she also always wins. So it's not going to be a surprise for me if Sarah J. Maas takes the cake in the Romantasy category. But there's going to be books that are going to give her a run for her money for sure. So Bride, for example, and also Reckless by Lauren Roberts, because Powerless was just such a big book on Book Talk and everywhere, BookTube. And then the second full-length novel was Reckless, which released this year. So I think it might give Sarah J. Maas a run for her money, even though I don't think it's going to win. A book that is quite interesting because it was quite popular because of like book boxes and stuff is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. This book I think will have a nomination for sure, at least in the top 10. And then we've got The Familiar by Lee Bardugo. I think this may get nominated, but I don't think it will end up in the top 10 because not a lot of people read that book, I think. So it was hyped because it was going to be a new release by Lee Bardugo, but I'm not sure it will end up in the top 10, but I think it will definitely be in the top 20. A book that was quite big in the past couple of months is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I haven't read that one yet, but I'm interested. So I think it will be on the list. And then Quicksilver by Callie Hart was so hyped in the past couple of months. I would be really surprised if this book doesn't get nominated in the romantasy category. And then another book that I've been seeing everywhere is A Touch of Chaos by Scarlett Sinclair. So this book I think will also be in the top 20 or top 10. So these are the books that have been on my radar that I know a lot of people have been hyping up when it comes to romantasy books. So I think these are all going to be on that list. And then the others, I'm just not sure about because I have not been in touch as much with the romantasy category as much as with contemporaries. Even though now that I think about it, when did Carissa Broadbent's book come out? I think it was it in January? I think Carissa Broadbent should be on this list. Actually, if it's on this list, I'm going to be voting for Carissa Broadbent's The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, I think the book is called. So if Carissa Broadbent is on this list, she has my vote because I love that book. So essentially, these are all my predictions for the Goodreads Choice Award. I think I did quite well last year with my predictions. I guessed almost everything, so the winner and the top 10 and everything. So I hope that I have the same kind of success rate when it comes to guessing, even though hopefully I actually am wrong about some of these and that we get some more diversity when it comes to books that get nominated. I would love to see like a Danielle Allen and someone who does like Why Choose romances, or someone who does like any kind of diverse type of book, so male or sapphic or bi-rep or whatever, just some kind of diversity within the book. I would love to see that, but we'll wait out and see. I'm really curious to see if you share my predictions, if you think that I'm quite right when it comes to the books that I predicted, or whether you think that someone else will be making it on the list, or maybe someone else will win it. We never know. So please leave your thoughts down below in the comment box. Let me know who you think is going to take the cake within the romance category and also within the romantasy category. I'm quite curious, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.